Today we're going to be discussing destroying angel mushrooms, which is an Amanita. It's in section Phalloidea. Lethally toxic, good one to know. So we'll do a little demo on how to recognize them and identification traits on working out these fantastic, beautiful, deadly mushrooms. So here we have a few Amanita. You can see the slugs really don't mind eating these things. We have a young button here. I'd say a young girl right here with a little taller. And then we have a couple of older ones here that got kicked up. So yeah, on identification, destroying angels. They're white. Let's focus on this one over here. So we can take a look at the cap. These ones are rather gracile and small, but we can see the cap is pure white pretty much. And as to differentiate from other Amanita, there's no lines, striations towards the margin of the cap. It's smooth, which is a characteristic of section Phalloidea. And if we move some of this dirt around, they grow out of this egg, and what's left on the bottom we call a vulva. It's a sac that it grows out of. This one has a rather robust bulb underneath, and we can see this decoration on the stipe, these fibrils. They go up and down, which are characteristic to destroying angels as well. This one's a little higher, sticking out of the ground. So these like growing out of the topsoil. We don't have to dig too far down for them. And if we move them over, you can see it has this bulbous base on the bottom and the sac that it grew out of. And if we flip it over, we can see the skirt that's covering the gills, also known as the annulus. And on these older ones over here, you can see where the skirt was left on the stipe, and on that one there as well. So, zooming in on this, we can see this skirt is rather robust and felty, which suggests Amanita magnivelaris, which is the felted skirt destroying angel. This one being older is a little more weak towards the bottom, so we lost some of the vulva, but there's a little piece there. Oh, we can pick this up. So we can see these aren't really that large. I found these larger than my forearm, just to let you know, but these ones are small. And we can see on the cap that it's still white, and it doesn't have any lines on the margin there, the striations. It's very smooth, which again, characteristic to section Phalloidea and a few other sections as well. One thing to note on this is the aroma. This one in particular today smells like rotting protein, which is a characteristic of mushrooms, particularly in Amanita. So yeah, we have this. One thing to note on Amanita is the short gills. Let me place this down to see if we can get a better look. So we can see the gills are free from the stem. And there's gills that go all the way from the margin of the cap up here, which go all the way down, but between them, we can see a few short ones. Let me see if I can find some. Here's one around there, which doesn't go close to the stem. This is going to be tough to see those short gills for a demo. But they are there. If you look, they vary in length. These ones are rounded at the end. A good characteristic to note on Amanita is the shape of the short gills where they stop. So these are rounded. And these are destroying angels. So Characteristics of magnivelaris. It has a robust bulb on the bottom, which is wide. You can see it's even wider than the cap where it's growing here. We'll check out on this guy. Let me grab my knife to help pry it out. And we can see we missed some of the vulva in the bottom, but we still have some left on the stem here, which is good to know. So section phalloideae has this vulva sac that it grows out of, and it also has a skirt. This one's still covering the gills, but as we see, we cannot see the gills, versus on these larger ones where it's released and it's connected to the stem. So this very felted skirt that's staying very thick, characteristic to magnivelaris. But one thing I want to show you is that this is one of the few members of section phalloideae where you have KOH regent, which is a good characteristic tool to look for with mushrooms. So what we want to do with this is we want to take a Q-tip and we want to drop enough KOH solution on the top to rub onto the cap. So if we see on the cap, and let's see if we can focus in, if we rub it really good, you can see right here that there's no coloration that developed from the KOH. It has a negative reaction, which there's a couple members, Elliptosperma is one that I can think of, and this one, magnivelaris, does not have a KOH reaction. So as an identification characteristic of the destroying angels, this is good to note. And I can smell the rotting protein from here, bringing it closer, rubbing that solution on it. So yeah, destroying angels today. A little demo on how to identify, and this is one you don't want to eat because it will kill you and melt your liver. I hope you enjoyed.